Today's Japanese slang terms are chintotsu, mantotsu, and paitotsu. Is what I would say if I wasn't doing a little bit of clickbait here, because yes, I will get to these terms, but I've decided to play with the algorithm a little bit in presenting what are obviously 18 plus terms to get you to click out of interest. And just like you put medicine for a dog and sent some steak to give it to them, what I'm going to do here is actually use this as an opportunity to talk about the Japanese slang term I want to talk about, which is going to feature this little kanji here. Look at it. Isn't it amazing? Let's all spend some time looking at how great this kanji is. That was a good use of our time. This kanji, which I'm sure you all understand is objectively one of the best Japanese kanji, and don't take my word for it, here's a video by the esteemed Dr. Wes Robertson talking about how great this kanji is a very important element of Japanese meme culture and internet slang to date. And again, just a great kanji. Who's a good kanji? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Anyway, while you won't see this kanji very much in day-to-day Japan, it really only comes up in dekoboko and occasionally makes the news because someone tries to name their kid Tetris using this kanji, which I admire the creativity, but I wouldn't recommend naming your child that, no. It is part of a range of different words that are used on the Japanese internet today. But to understand this, we actually need to go way, way back because the use of this kanji in slang arrived out of early 2chan culture, etc. As I'm sure you're all familiar, 2chan has long been associated with trolling or obnoxious practices both online and offline, and for some reason, quite some time ago, people used the forum to get together to call businesses, etc. to complain about things. And this practice was called sudden attacking, or totsugeki. Now, because this was a long time ago, this wasn't done nowadays via email, etc., but via the phone. Hence, denwa totsugeki, which was shortened to dentotsu. So dentotsu became a term meaning to call someone, usually to complain. And indeed, this use is so well known, it's such an old part of the Japanese internet that you can find it in major dictionaries, both in English and Japanese. And yeah, it survives today, although not necessarily in the attack meaning, such as this person here. They asked their friend to call them and use dentotsu to refer to that process. See, it's not just messages, there are actual missed calls there, hence dentotsu. Now, this practice collided with another early element of Japanese online culture, which is taking a word and intentionally replacing it with the wrong kanji. Sometimes this involved respellings or misspellings, such as oremo becoming moremo, or the longer saaba, or a server, being shortened to saba, the fish, but also now a server. In other cases, words like akaunto became aka, which became dirt. Again, many of these respellings, these kanji changes exist today and are very, very frequently used. Indeed, I would say you can't really go online right now in Japan without knowing that dirt means account. This process was applied to dentotsu, with people changing the totsu from totsugeki to this totsu because, why not? It's fun. And of course, these kind of changes also build a sense of community. Oh, you use that totsu? Well, I guess you're not one of us. We've all moved on to this totsu. And if you want to be a cool kid on the internet, you're going to have to join us too. Then of course, because Japanese in general just love shortening things, den got dropped, and people slapped ru onto the end of totsu, giving us totsuru, a very, very convenient shortening of what once was denwa totsugeki. Over time though, totsuru lost the meaning of attack and complain and just became a verb meaning to contact someone, especially via messaging. And yes, it does survive and see plentiful interest today. There's an easy example here, and another easy example here. If you use totsuru to someone who is at least a little bit online, they will understand what you mean. Indeed, again, it is famous enough to the extent that it appears in Japanese dictionaries. And there are also phrases that have developed on this, such as totsumachi, which means something like I await your messages, used here by a VTuber to say, hey, send me messages before they're live. And there's even riatotsu, which is when you meet someone in real life. Yes, it's just a variant of aimasu at the end of the day, but it is out there. Indeed, there's even a common boilerplate of riatotsu shitara, kore kuru, or something like that, that people use to show, hey, look how hot or attractive or cool I am, this is what I would look like if I showed up to hang out with you. Indeed, there are even what I feel is semi-redundant phrases such as DM totsuru, which, just say totsuru, right? I guess, yeah, like a DM is a noun and a verb, so you can definitely totsuru a DM. To bring us back to what I started this video with, yes, I am keeping my promises. Chintotsu, mantotsu, and paitotsu are then just terms used to mean that you are totsuring someone pictures of your, private bits. So this guy here is just shooting a shot, no pun intended, into the internet, hoping that someone will allow him to send a certain picture. This person here is offering to send pictures of a certain something. And here's an example of the third one. I don't know about you, but I'd definitely be most excited to see pictures of delicious pies. There is also, but less commonly, pictures of butts, which can be called either ketsutotsu or shiritotsu, either way. And there's a little bit of bonus slang there as well in the famous opai phrase used to refer to men's pectoral muscles in a way that sexualizes them, that you find them attractive, by replacing the normal o with the kanji for a male animal. So there you go. I've covered totsugeki, I've covered totsuru, I've covered totsumachi, I've covered riatotsu, I've covered a number of sexual totsu versions, and look at all those stars. Does that mean I get two?
That's right!
We get to Gentotsu, which is another variant of Totsu, which seems to have no direct connection to the Totsu I've been talking about so far, but definitely shows that Japanese people realize how amazing this kanji is, because this is the shortening of Genkai, or limit, Toppatsu, or to pierce through. Now, I'm going to butcher this explanation because I don't play gacha games, but basically within gacha games and similar games, there is often a process where if you collect enough of something, is if you get enough repeats, or if you level something up to a certain level, it hits the max level, which allows you to actually go to another level. In other words, you are breaking through the max. Yeah, it's not an actual max, but I don't know, I didn't design the game, don't blame me, I'm just trying to explain it, and I don't understand what I'm talking about, I'm nearly 40. This has led to the shortening of Gentotsu, which again takes the Totsu kanji and switches it to the new one, the better one, in order to show that you have kind of leveled up, gone beyond. And apparently this can happen a few times because there is even a term of Kantotsu, which means when you have Gentotsu to the extent that you can no longer Gentotsu ever again. Again, I have no idea how this works, but if you play gacha games, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. And Gentotsu and Kantotsu are the terms you use to refer to these kind of processes. And just to throw out a little bonus, kakin is the term that you use to express how much money you've spent in trying to do all this Gentotsu. Just as a caveat, I have had to shorten a huge history down here for this video. I hope, especially because more Japanese people are commenting and watching my videos for some reason, that this has been a solid crash course, and if it hasn't, please don't Gentotsu me. You can, however, send pictures of pies.